Hello friends and welcome back. I'm Enterprise Architecture. We are back here playing more modded Vintagestory. Last episode we took on the Resonance Archive, and in between episodes I cleared out literally everything that wasn't nailed down and a bunch of the things that were nailed down now that we have cheated in and being able to actually break blocks inside of that. So now we have all of these wonderful library books from the Resonance Library, and today we're going to start setting up our main library here, at least the first floor of it, and trying to get all of those lovely bookshelves put into place. So, with no further ado, let's dive right in. So I did go ahead and set up a second storage controller just for all of our buildable materials, because the easiest way to sort through things when you've got such a huge amount of junk coming in is to set up the storage controller, and then you can just dump things into the input here and it will find the matching blocks. So that was really critical when it came to things like our bookshelf blocks, because we've got so many different types of them. And it's really hard to sort through all of these and know where to stack them. So we're just going to start grabbing up some of these short ones that we've got here. You do have the double-sided ones as well, but we're not going to concern ourselves with those right now. We are mainly worried about these, the large numbered ones that we've got, where there's a lot of different types of books here. This is what we really need to start building. So we're going to grab those up a little at a time here. Although this is jumping around on me in a way that's kind of annoying. We need a whole bunch of ruined bookshelves for today's build. Now, we probably want to do a little bit of each. I wish there was some sort of a tool that would easily let it pick randomly from the blocks so that we end up with a bunch of different types of these as we're putting them down. But for right now, we're just going to grab up a few types here just so that we can start laying out our formation. And then we'll come back later and we'll sort those out so that we replace some of the ones that are duplicates so that it looks a little bit more random. Oh, and we need to go get some more food. I am so glad we made all of that stew up at the beginning of winter. That has really saved us a lot now. Okay, so this is the room that we were going to start building in our library. So I laid out these pillars to kind of give us an idea of where the edges of this kind of need to start and stop. And ideally, we cover floor to ceiling all of these walls with these various bookshelves. But we also want to have an area where we can walk through in between them. So the awkward thing here is that these bookshelves that we've got are going to kind of fit on either side of the pillars here. So we either need to move the pillars or we need to move the bookshelves. And I haven't really figured out how we are going to do that yet. Is this too claustrophobic for us? I don't think so. I don't necessarily know that that is going to be problematic here. But this one is definitely going to be a little less wide here. Oh, and we can put them down sideways. I didn't realize that. Okay, that's going to make things a lot easier. Okay, so let's see here. Let's just play with this a little bit and see where we land. I don't know that I necessarily love having these be so far apart. Maybe we do put them like right here on the back of each other and then do the same thing here maybe. Because we want to have rows that you're definitely walking through. And I think this is going to be the most convenient way to do that. All right, well, let me tinker with this a little bit and see how it feels once we've got these put together. All right, so this is starting to get framed in a little bit. I think this will work. I wanted a little bit of a claustrophobic feel to it, and I think this sort of starts to give us this. On the sides, it's going to be a little wider open, but this middle channel is very narrow. And I haven't decided whether or not I like that or I hate that. So that's going to be something that I'm going to tinker with for a little while here to figure out what I like. But this is generally starting to give us the feel that we want. Now, I will probably have some sort of an opening here so you can get between these rows instead of where these arches are currently. So we'll figure that out also as we're going here. So there'll be a little bit of a gap here. Probably this won't come right as far down. But then we can do this second room to kind of match this first room. And we should have plenty of room for all of our books if we do this on both sides here. Now, I also want to do some bookshelves at the top here in the gallery above. So that's going to be something else that we're going to have to figure out. And also, we probably need some ladders that are going to go in here. And I haven't figured out how the ladders are going to work yet either. But this should be the general feel that we're going for. Now, I'd also like to have some little areas where we have some little display tables and whatnot. And those will probably go in these big open areas that are off to the side. But the one thing that is a problem right now is that monsters are spawning in here. So we will need to light this up considerably. And of course, this is not going to be closed rooms, which is what I kind of decided in between episodes. I don't think it really makes sense to really shutter ourselves in so much because otherwise we can't have all of these lovely high ceilings. So we are going to leave these as definitely closed in at the very top. but we're not going to make this what would be considered a room in the parlance of Vintagestory, because those rooms can only be 14 by 14 by 14, and we want these to be considerably larger than that. All right, so to top off these shelves, I'm going to use these ebony planks that we found in the library as well, in the residence library, that is. But I've also got a bunch of these like chiseled planks that I want to unchisel. So we're going to grab up our tin bronze unchisel and just get these converted back into regular blocks real quick. There we go, that worked well. And we have another 19 of them here that we also need to do. So let's get these done real fast. It doesn't take long. The unchisel does a very, very nice job taking care of this. It's just really hard to do these in bulk. I don't think you can just do them as a recipe. Let me try this real quick though. Just want to make sure that that's not the case. I don't think you can just do like this, right? That's not a thing. No, I didn't think it was. Okay, right. So we do have to place them down so that we can actually convert them, but that will convert them back into regular blocks. And as regular blocks, we can actually do something with them, including chiseling them again if we want. All right, so let's get those done. Perfect. All right, so we're going to put this back here. All right, and I think the ebony will be a nice block to put along the top here to kind of frame this in a little bit more. It'll give it a little bit of texture, but this is what they were doing in the residence library, and I think this will work well for us as well. If we don't, fall all the way back down there. Okay, well, easily solved. We just need to walk right back out of here, but let's go ahead and fill in the rest of this while we are down here. Now, of course, we could use slabs for this, but it's just as easy because we have plenty of planks right now, at least of these ebony planks. We may as well use the ones that we've got. All right, so let's close this back in, just like that. There we go. And now this is starting to come together. I think this gives me about the spacing we want, and I did leave a little gap here so that we can kind of walk between these areas. I don't know that I'm going to keep this main arch here or not, or if I'm going to do something different with it. I haven't decided with that yet. But yeah, this is starting to come together. We just need to spend a little bit more time to kind of make this look a little more library-like. All right, so this is starting to come together. I think we've got most of the bookshelves in place for this side, and I don't know if we're actually gonna have enough bookshelves to even finish off the other half on that side, so we might have to come up with a separate plan, but this is starting to look good. One little thing I wanted to do is add a little Easter egg in here, and I'm gonna show you what my thinking is. I'm gonna grab up some ebony planks here, and I've actually already started to chisel these. So I have this set of chiseled bookshelves with no books on them. I probably need to add a second or third ingredient to be able to make them look like fake books. And then I have this set of planks, which is basically the same thing, and I just need to rotate this around here. There we go. And you can see that this kind of looks a little bit like, what? A hidden door. Yeah. And so that's what I want to do with this. I'm going to grab up my iron pantograph. We're going to change this into a chiseled door tool. And if we change the state of this, I'm going to assign this the closed door state, just like that. And then I'm going to right click to convert it. And then I'm going to go and grab the open door shape from the top here. And then I'm going to right click on this, and that should now become an open and closable door. And we're going to do exactly the same thing on the bottom. We're going to assign closed door shape here. So we left click to copy that, right click is going to paste it, and then we do the open door shape. Left click, right click to paste it. And now if I've done that properly, these will open and close. The only thing left to do is to set up linked doors. So I really want these both to be a set of doors. So now you can see that this opens and closes together. And I have just a little bit of an overhang here so I can kind of squeeze through just underneath the top edge of that door. And now we have a nice concealed secret doorway. And I'm probably going to use this to probably put some stairs that go down here into some sort of a basement at some point when we get around to actually making a basement. But let me see if I can't find a decorative block to add to this so that we can chisel in some books as well. All right, let's see if we can't chisel something that approximates looking like a book here. So let's grab up some sandstone and let's grab up some andesite here and maybe even some granite. So let's take a look at this: sandstone and andesite and granite. Wonderful. Okay, so in theory, what I should be able to do is pencil in some books that kind of look like these. These are about 2 squares big. So if I take something like this, I should now be able to kind of add this in. So let's make sure that we are selecting 2 by 2, and let's grab our andesite rock, first of all. So we want something that's going to sit like right here. Oh, we need a hammer. There we go. Okay, great. So let's try this. Yeah, that looks vaguely book-like. And I think we can do like a couple of these maybe. That's good. And now let's grab our 1x1 and grab our sandstone. 1 by 1. And we'll just give it a little something there. Yeah, that's starting to look okay. Maybe we'll do another one over here. Let's do actually a different color in between them. So let's grab up our chisel again. Let's grab granite. Let's grab our 2x2. There we go. And maybe we even do like aged ebony here as the stripe on this one. I really wish we had a slightly bigger, or excuse me, a slightly smaller pixel that we could use there, but I think this is, that's not quite right. That looks a little too much like a face, right? So let's do something like this. And then maybe we just do a little something like that on top. There we go. So we can kind of play with this a little bit. Okay, that's looking suitably bookshelf-ish. So let's go ahead and try and copy and paste this, paste and shape our materials. You're not gonna let me? Oh, it might be because it's already turned this into a door. So that's easily fixed here. All we have to do is just break this down, just like that. That should transform back into a regular block now. There we go. Now we should be able to copy this, paste it there, copy this, paste it there. And then we just have to repeat our door trick here with our door thing. So let's go ahead and copy this as the close shape, paste it, copy this as the open shape, paste it, and then we repeat the process. All right, and this is now done, and the books should look basically the same, closed and open, because we've done that on both of these. Wonderful. So now we have a nice little secret hidden doorway. Now, just to make sure this works for us in the future, I'm going to go ahead and break these blocks down that we've chiseled, and I'm going to go ahead and put these back inside of here so we can just kind of store them for later in case we do need them for anything in the future. So let's grab up our chiseled blocks here, and we're just going to put them right here. So while we are chiseling, the last thing we might want to do here is chisel on some nice little end caps here. So let's see what those could look like. So I think I want to take these down a little bit. Maybe not even that far. Let's go down to here. Yeah, those are now flush on that side, and these are going to be flush on this side. There we go. That's flush. There we go. And now all we need to do is start chiseling this down. So let's make a resizable one real quick here. Let's make this 16 high and 1 deep. And this will allow us to start carving out a nice little round corner here if we want. Something that looks like it's round-ish. It doesn't have to be perfectly round. So that's 1, 2 there, 1, 2 there, something like that. Could work well for us. Now, I think that maybe these planks might be too noisy. It looks like maybe we need some redwood or something like that that'll be less noisy for us. I wonder if we can just rotate just the texture somehow. I don't see a way to do that on here, but something like this I think is going to be nice for us to have just to smooth out the edges of this space a little. Let's see here. What's one more look like here? Yeah, something like that could work well for us. I think that's the shape we want. But again, we need a different texture here. So let me see what I can come up with. Well, unfortunately, I couldn't find any redwood anywhere near us. I'm sure maybe there's some on the map, but when it's snowy like this, it's really hard to see anything. So at some point, I would like to find some redwood that would work better. But for now, we're just going to use our oak, and we're just going to have to live with that. I think that'll work well enough, and it'll match what we've got with the logs above. So let's go ahead and unchisel this one. Oh, we need to make sure that the hammer is in our offhand. There we go. And let's just fill these in with oak logs, and let's just make sure that we are facing these in the right direction when we do. So let's just go up like this. There we go. And now I should be able to copy this and paste this to each of these blocks. There we go. That'll give us a nice little round edge. And we might even play with this a little bit more and notch it in to make it look a little more interesting or something, but I think this will do just fine for now. Let's just do a couple more of these. All right, so to finish these off, I think I am going to go ahead and put another layer on top here, just so it gives it a nice little bit of trim. Let's go ahead and break all of these original blocks that we had put into place there. So let's use some aged ebony planks here, and there's not a slab version of these, unfortunately, so we won't be able to use those, which would be more cost effective for us. So let's try and put these down just like this. And now we're going to use our hand plane on these. There we go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That should be halfway down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, this is slab height now. There we go. And with any luck, we should be able to chisel these into something that looks like a nice round edge at the top. Well, probably not perfectly round, but something a little more round than what's in place right now, just to give it that nice little crown so that, you know, it looks like an actual bookshelf and not just a pile of garbage. Okay, so let's go ahead and try and chisel this down. We are going to use our resizable chisel. Once again, let's resize that down so that we only have one that's one high, one deep, and let's just knock this just a little bit back here. Just something like that, I think, is really all we need. Something that's just going to give it that little bit of an edge. Yeah. Yeah, I think that could be something there. Let's try and copy this over on this side and see how we end up. Again, let's use our resizable here and let's make this, yeah, just a little wider. You know what, I think that sticks out even a little too much. Let's go ahead and grab our hand plane and let's knock this back a few more blocks. Let's do like, well, we still have a long way to go, but we are making slow but sure incremental progress here, and I think this is starting to look really good. Now, in between episodes, I'll go ahead and add these top caps on the rest of the bookshelves in this side, and then I'll start thinking about what we want to do with the other side of our library. But for now, thanks again for watching, and we'll see you back here next time. Bye, friends!